My name is Mia Thornton. I'm 28. I was outside the cafe, breathing cold air. My phone glowed. Scheduled post. Ready. Inside, my parents toasted 40 years of marriage. My parents thought I'd stepped out to calm down. I stepped out to make sure the truth would land. 30 minutes earlier, I sat at their table. My mother leaned close, smiling for the guests. Then she hissed, "We wish you were never born." The room froze. The band kept playing, bright and wrong. I don't cry. I push my chair back and stand. I smooth my dress. I meet her eyes. I say, "Then I'll disappear." My parents didn't know my goodbye was a countdown. Where are you watching from tonight? Quiet kitchen, parked car, or your own small room? Echoes of life is here with you. 30 minutes before my mother said those words, I was behind the dessert table, fixing the cake flowers. The cafe smelled like coffee, buttercream, and perfume. Warm lights hung overhead like a magazine shoot. My parents posed for photos, smiling like saints. I had helped build that image. Ryan, my older brother, held court near the bar. He told surgery stories like he was saving lives daily. People laughed and leaned in, hungry for his approval. Emily stood with a circle of guests, polished and bright. Law school, internships, clerkships, heads tilted toward her like she was sunlight. No one asked me about my art. They never did. If my name came up, it was an add-on. "This is Mia," my mother would say, almost amused. "She draws." 3 weeks earlier, I stopped calling it favoritism. I went to my parents' house with invitation samples. A folder sat on the dining table, half open. The top page had my name in bold. MIA Thornton, college fund. I shouldn't have looked. I did anyway. The balance was basically nothing. Not spent on my tuition. Not used for books or housing. Just emptied in chunks. Transfers to Ryan's loan consolidation. Transfers for Emily's bar exam expenses. Dates from years back, lined up like a confession. Then I saw my mother's handwriting on one statement. She'll never make money with art anyway. Better to invest in the real futures. My stomach went cold. I heard my father's voice in my head, changing the subject. I saw every eye roll at the word gallery. I remembered being introduced as the extra child. That night, I didn't scream. I didn't confront them at the table. I just started paying attention. Because once you see the math, you stop believing the speeches, and I decided my silence was officially over. After I found those statements, I started recording. Not dramatic recordings, quiet ones, the kind you make when you're done doubting yourself. I stood in the hallway with my phone in my pocket. I washed dishes, listening through a half-closed door. I pretended to look for tape in the kitchen drawer, and I hit record. My mother's voice came first, sharp and casual. "Art isn't a real career. Sometimes I wish we stopped at 2 kids." My father's words were softer, but worse. At least the other 2 turned out right. Mia is expensive decoration. Ryan laughed one night. She'll be back living at home within a year. Emily called me the practice child. Then she said, "We're carrying her dead weight." Each clip was short. 10 seconds. 15. Long enough to be undeniable. I saved them in a folder named Audio. I kept smiling like nothing changed. Then my parents asked me for a favor. "Mia, you're artsy," my mother said. "Make the anniversary party look nice." I smiled and said yes. A week later, I offered my own suggestion. "Let me handle the slideshow," I said. "A tribute video, wedding photos, family memories." My mother barely looked up. "Fine," she said. "Just don't make it weird. Don't." So I made it classic, at least the first half. I scanned their proudest photos. Wedding day smiles. Baby Ryan. Baby Emily. My baby picture shoved to the edge. Soft piano. Clean captions. Endless love. Family first. Then I created a folder on my desktop. I named it Truth. Inside, I dropped the recordings. I added screenshots of the transfers. I zoomed in on my mother's handwritten note. I paused it long enough to read, and I layered my art over all of it. Pieces they refused to hang. Portraits that turned their smiles into masks. With their voices underneath, the paintings became evidence. Jess, the cafe barista, was my only witness. She watched the rough cut and whispered, "Don't flinch. We planned the timing, right after the speeches, when emotions ran high. A surprise tribute, they'd call it. I exported the file with a harmless name. I made 2 backups, one on the cafe laptop, one in my clutch, and a scheduled upload, just in case. By the time invitations went out, my gift was already waiting in the projector, and all they had to do was press play. If this were your family, your life, what would you do? Comment 1 to stay quiet and let them keep stealing your story. Comment 2 to expose it all and make them answer in public. Dinner blurred into clinking silverware and polite laughter. String lights glowed overhead. My father's partners toasted 40 years of success. Ryan stood first, confident and rehearsed. He praised sacrifice and family values. Emily followed, smooth and shining. She thanked our parents for believing in the right dreams. Everyone clapped. Then my mother took the microphone. Her smile was practiced and bright. "We are so blessed," she said, voice trembling on cue. "Our children have made us proud." Her gaze slid over me like I was furniture. "Some of them," she added, and the room chuckled. Someone suggested I say a few words. My mother laughed too loudly. "Oh, Mia," she said, lifting her glass. "She's better with her little drawings than with speeches." That line should have hurt. It barely registered. What happened next did. She leaned closer, still smiling for the room. Her voice dropped into a private hiss. But the microphone sat inches from her hand. It caught everything. "Sometimes we truly wish you were never born." Silence slammed down. A fork clattered against a plate. The band kept playing, cheerful and wrong. Every face turned toward me. I pushed my chair back slowly. The scrapes sounded like a blade. I stood. I smoothed the front of my dress. I looked straight at her. "Then I'll disappear," I said. Her color drained. She reached for my wrist. "Mia, sit down. You're making a scene." "A scene is what happens when nobody knows the truth," I said. I turned toward the guests. My voice stayed calm. "You all came to celebrate their love story," I said. "Do yourselves a favor. Stay for the sequel." I walked away before my knees could shake. Behind me, chairs scraped. My father cursed under his breath. Someone called my name like an order. I passed the sound booth. Jess stood there, hand near the control panel. Her eyes asked, "Now?" I didn't speak. I gave her a small nod. Outside, the night air hit like a slap. Cold and clean. My phone was already in my hand. A scheduled post waited with my caption. A private upload sat queued to go public. An email draft waited with links and screenshots. I slipped into the narrow alley beside the cafe. Brick wall cold against my shoulder. I checked the time. 12 minutes down. 18 to go. My phone buzzed. "Jess, they're acting like nothing happened. Ready?" I typed back. "Press play when they call for the slideshow." "Don't stop it." Then another buzz. "Jess." "It's on. They cheered at video by Mia." I smiled in the dark. Because the next cut was black. And my mother's voice was about to fill the room. Inside, they thought they were watching love. They were watching proof. The slideshow began with soft piano and wedding photos. My parents relaxed. Guests smiled and lifted their glasses. Ryan squeezed my father's shoulder like a proud son. Emily dabbed her eyes like a perfect daughter. My mother sat taller, soaking in the applause. Then the screen cut to black. The music stopped. And my mother's real voice came through the speakers. "Art isn't a real career." A few people laughed, confused. My mother's smile twitched. The black screen faded into a bank statement. MIA Thornton College Fund. Balance, $0.20. Gasps moved across the tables like a cold draft. Then the highlighted transfers appeared, one after another. Transfer to Ryan's loan consolidation. Transfer to Emily's bar expenses. Dates and amounts lined up like a spine. My father's voice layered over the numbers. "At least the other 2 turned out right." Someone set a glass down too hard. My mother stood up, hands shaking. "That's fake," she snapped. But the next clip hit before she finished. "If we hadn't had her, we could have retired." The line played over one of my paintings. Her smile made of glass. Her shadow twisting behind her. Ryan lunged toward the projector, furious. My father followed, red-faced. They yanked at cords like that could erase the past. Too late. Half the room was already filming. A neighbor whispered, "Is that handwriting hers?" Someone asked my mother, "Did you write that note?" My mother tried to laugh it off. The laughter died fast. Ryan's colleagues stepped back from him. Emily's mentors stopped smiling. Jess texted me from inside. "People are crying. Your dad's client is yelling near the bar. Your mom is screaming at the manager." My phone started buzzing with unknown numbers. Some messages were hateful. Some were soft, ashamed. At minute 30, my scheduled post went public. The upload link opened like a door. Shares ticked up fast. Comments poured in faster. Then my email draft sent with one click. Hospital board contacts. Emily's mentors. My father's top clients. Just links and screenshots. Nothing emotional. Nothing to argue with. Ryan called first. "You destroyed everything," he hissed. I asked, "Did you use my fund?" He went silent. Emily called next, voice breaking. "You didn't have to do it like this." I said, "You didn't have to laugh either." My father called last. "If you take it down, we'll fix this," he said. He offered a new story. He offered me as the unstable daughter. I said, no. I didn't go back inside. I didn't check if they apologized. I let the truth stay where they had performed. In the alley, I listened to the muffled shouting. For years, I was the family secret. Tonight, they were. They wanted me invisible. I made the record permanent. 3 months later, the noise still hadn't fully faded, but my life had started to sound like mine. The video kept traveling without my permission. News clips played in waiting rooms and church lobbies. My mother stopped going to church. Ryan's hospital board opened a review. Emily's clerkship was reconsidered, in her mentor's words. It didn't heal my childhood. It just proved I wasn't imagining it. What changed was my mornings. I woke up without dread in my throat. I made coffee and answered only respectful messages. I blocked numbers that arrived with insults. I stopped explaining myself to people who fed on silence. Then the art world found me. A gallery owner named Lena asked to see my work. She offered a show and a title, Conditional Love. I signed the contract with steady hands. For once, my future had my name on it. Opening night was crowded and bright. My paintings hung on clean white walls. Receipts, statements, and shredded apologies became color and texture. One piece held the room in a hush. Its title was my mother's sentence. After the applause, my father called. He asked if I would come talk and help your mother. I said I didn't know yet. Then I added, "Do not come to my door." Later, I saw my mother outside the gallery window. No makeup. Purse clutched tight. Her call lit my screen. I let it ring until it stopped. I didn't disappear. I just stopped performing for them. Peace isn't forgiveness. It's distance, with the truth intact. If any part of this felt familiar, please like and share. Subscribe for more quiet strength on Echoes of Life. And stay close for the next story.